All right, let's talk about time. But, probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. We're going to explore this really ancient system that looks at every single day not just as a number on a calendar, but as a unique moment in time with its own specific vibe, its own energy. I mean, think about it for a second. When you glance at today's date on your phone, what is it actually telling you? Yeah, sure, it's great for scheduling a meeting or knowing when a deadline is, but it tells you absolutely nothing about the day's nature, right? Our modern calendar is super efficient for organizing our lives, but it's totally silent on the what and how of the day's actual energy.
And this is where the Panchang comes in and just blows the whole thing wide open. Just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got your standard info, Friday, June 11th. Okay. But on the right, you get a snapshot from this ancient Indian system. It doesn't just give you the date, it adds all these amazing layers of cosmic data. The lunar day, the constellation the moon is currently in, even a little guidance for the day. All of a sudden, a day isn't just some box on a grid, is it? It's got its own personality.
The truth is, while our modern calendar is incredibly efficient, it's also kind of created this disconnect. We've pretty much lost touch with the astronomical rhythms that ancient cultures lived and breathed by. There's just no real-world connection when you say it's the 11th of June. It's just a number floating in space. And this system was a huge deal. For centuries in India, the Panchang wasn't just a calendar, it was the timing system. You can almost think of it as a kind of GPS for time, a framework that literally unified an entire subcontinent. I mean, just think about this. Long before we had TV or the internet, millions of people knew exactly when a massive festival like the Kumbh Mela was going to happen. How on earth did they do that? Because everyone, from the most learned priests to farmers who couldn't even read, had access to the Panchang. It guided these huge national events, local traditions, and even what you should do on a personal level day to day. It aligned the whole society to one cosmic clock.
So, what exactly is this thing? Well, the name itself kind of gives the game away. Panchang literally means 5 limbs or 5 components. And it's these 5 distinct pieces of information that come together every single day to give you a complete holistic picture of time.
These 5 components, or angas, are the core building blocks. First up, you've got the tithi, which is the lunar day. Then there's the var, that's our familiar weekday. Next is the nakshatra, the constellation the moon is hanging out in. Then you have the yoga, which is a special solar-lunar calculation. And finally, the karana, which is basically half a lunar day. Put them all together, and they create a unique profile for every single day. Let's start with the big one, the tithi. This is the lunar day. Now, it's not based on the Earth spinning, but on the constantly changing angle between the sun and the moon. This relationship is said to influence the element of water. And, by extension, that means our emotions, our relationships, all that juicy stuff. Next is the var, the weekday. This part feels totally familiar, right? Sunday for the sun, Monday for the moon, Saturday for Saturn, we get it. But have you ever stopped to ask why? Why are they in that specific order? It seems completely random, but trust me, as we're about to see, there's a brilliant hidden logic behind it. The other 3 limbs, well, they add even more detail and texture. The nakshatra tells us which of the 27 zodiacal constellations the moon is traveling through, which gives the day a very specific flavor. The yoga is all about the combined alignment of the sun and moon, pointing to periods of harmony or maybe a bit of friction. And the karana, that splits the lunar day in 2, offering even more fine-tuned timing for certain actions. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds a little mystical, maybe a little out there, right? But here's the thing. It is all grounded in some seriously sophisticated astronomical mathematics. This isn't really about belief, it's about pure calculation. The ancient skywatchers were incredible scientists. Let's go back to the tithi for a second. How is it actually calculated? It's actually just some really elegant geometry. A tithi is precisely the amount of time it takes for the angle between the sun and the moon to change by exactly 12 degrees. You take the full 360-degree circle of the zodiac, divide it by the 30 lunar days in a month, and boom, you get 12. So it all boils down to this one number, 12 degrees. This is the fundamental unit of the lunar month. Every single time the moon moves another 12 degrees away from the sun, a brand new tithi begins. It's a perfect, predictable, repeating celestial dance. All right, so remember that puzzle I mentioned earlier?
Why in the world are the days of the week in that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday order? Because if you just lined up the planets by how far they are from Earth, the sequence would be totally different. Well, the answer is hiding in an ingenious ancient system for dividing up the day. Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle is the ancient order of the planets. They were arranged by how fast they appeared to move across the sky, which also corresponds to their distance from us. So it starts with the slowest and farthest, Saturn, and goes all the way down to the fastest and closest, the Moon. Just keep this sequence in your head for a minute. And this is where it gets really cool. The key is this concept of the hora, or the planetary hour. In this system, every single hour of the 24-hour day is ruled by one of these 7 planets, and they cycle through continuously in that exact order we just saw: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and so on. And here it is. This is the punchline. The entire day gets its name from whichever planet rules the very first hour at sunrise. So if the sun rules that first hour, it's Sunday. Then you cycle through the planets for 24 hours straight. By the time sunrise comes around the next day, the planet ruling that first hour is the Moon. So you get Monday. The next day, Mars, which gives us Tuesday. It's not random at all. It's a perfect, logical clockwork system. Pretty amazing, right? So, okay, the math is super cool. But why does any of this matter today? Well, because the Panchang totally reframes time. It's not just something to manage or get through, it becomes something to be aware of. It's a tool that encourages a deeper connection to the cosmos and the world around you.
And look, this isn't about fortune-telling or rigid predictions. It's about recognizing patterns. For example, if you know the day is influenced by the Moon passing through a constellation ruled by Saturn, you might just remind yourself, okay, take a deep breath, maybe be a little more patient today. Or if you know it's a specific tithi that's considered great for devotional practices, you might act on that. It builds this muscle of self-awareness by aligning your inner world with the rhythms of the outer world. I love how one of the sources for this put it. It said, the English calendar doesn't have the flavor that the Panchang will give you. And that's it right there. It's the difference between eating some bland nutrient paste that just gives you the basic data versus sitting down to a rich, complex, flavorful meal. One just tells you when, the other gives you a full experience of what the day actually feels like.
And really, that's the big question the Panchang leaves us with. Our current calendars, they are masters of logistics. They are all about the when. But this ancient system suggests that a calendar could be so much more. What if our relationship with time wasn't just about scheduling and cramming things in, but about genuine understanding? What if our calendar could also reveal the best way how to live each and every day?